Now, just 1 week to go until Koreans head to the polls for the July 30th by-elections in this country. 15 parliamentary seats are up for grabs, the largest number of vacant assembly seats in Korean history.
And it's time for the rival parties to brace themselves for the big day, as well as the two-day early voting period that starts this Friday. Our political correspondent Ji Myung-kil joins us in the studio with the details.
All right, Myung-kil, good evening to you. So how are the races shaping up?
Well, good evening. Well, July by-elections are just around the corner, and all 15 constituencies are being contested by the rival parties. 6 are in Seoul and Gyeonggi-do Province, 2 in the Gyeongsang-do provinces, conservatives' home turf, 4 in the Jeolla-do provinces, traditional home ground of liberal parties, and the remaining 3 are in the Chungcheong-do provinces. If we take a look at the candidates, the ruling Seoul Party has fielded candidates in all 15 constituencies, while the main opposition, New Politics Alliance for Democracy, fielded 14. Of all the races, Seoul's Dongjak-bi district is garnering the most attention, as it is the only by-election race in the capital. Another being closely watched is the Suwon-si district, in which former opposition party leader Son Hak-kyu is running. If he wins, he may well compete in the 2017 presidential election.
Well, I believe we have some questions from Kanya.
Right. So which party has the upper hand?
Well, currently it's hard to predict a clear winner. Well, political analysts say that both rival parties failed to come up with viable solutions in the wake of April's ferry tragedy, and that both parties have been experiencing internal struggle and playing dirty politics.
President Park Geun-hye's administration failed to win the support of the people as it struggled with appointing members for the new cabinet, and the main opposition party has shown political controversies when fielding candidates.
Every by-election is seen as a midterm evaluation of the incumbent government, but experts say both parties are failing to draw in voters, so the July by-elections may not prove to be a strong barometer of public sentiment.
Well, they say all is fair in love, war, and, of course, politics. They are going to pull out all the stops, including, of course, playing dirty will be in the repertoire. Myung-kil, there's been a full-blown row among rival parties over the candidates. Could you fill us in on that?
That's right, Daniel. Just this week, the main opposition party, the leadership has been accused of nominating a former police officer known as Kwon Eun-hee, who's had been a problem-riddled past to run for Gwangju's Gyeongsang-do constituency. She has been linked to a string of wrongdoings ranging from plagiarism and perjury.
Right now, I think the fact that the opposition party isn't doing so well, is a lot of it has to do with the people becoming very sort of concerned about the Kwon Eun-hee and the legitimacy of her candidacy. I think that's going to play a big role for this election.
The professor went on to say that the ruling Seoul Party will continue to drive focus on this issue, and the main opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy will be left with no choice but to provide some kind of rebuttal.
Well, Myung-kil, with the main opposition, apparently being backed up against the wall, it seems coming up with a unified candidate could be a solution or an option for them. Would that raise their chance of winning?
Well, Kanya Pundit said it could play a big factor in raising the chances of winning in the districts. But even as we saw today, the opposition candidates for the Seoul's Dongjak-bi district, they failed to make a compromise in order to come up with a unified front. And just with a week left to go, chances are quite slight.
If they were able to come up with a unified candidate, a unified front, form a unified front in these districts, perhaps in Dongjak-eul and Suwon-cheong, that's Yeongtong, that could have made some difference. But right now, it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
The professor noted that one interesting aspect is the future of the main opposition party's co-leader, An Chol-soo. After the election, he said, if the opposition party does not do as well as they hope, then An's status within the party will likely weaken because he'll be held responsible.
Let's talk about voter turnout. I know the people are generally quite tired and unimpressed with the strategies the campaigners had to come up with this time. What will their strategies be for the remaining days to come?
Well, Daniel, the voter turnout will be low this time around to maybe around the 30% level, due in part to voters getting over the local elections just a month ago, and also it being the summer vacation season. And with just a week left, political observers say rival parties will focus on emphasizing the capabilities of their candidates.
The ruling party will likely focus on advertising their candidates' capabilities to work for their districts, while the main opposition party will continue to emphasize that President Park Geun-hye's administration must be judged through this by-election.
Well, it sure seems like we'll have to wait and see next week, next Wednesday, on what the Korean people's verdict will be on the government's, I suppose, post-ferry disaster management or measures for that ferry disaster. All right, Myung-kil, thank you so much for today.
Sure.